In this video, we are going to use what we know about solving systems through substitution, and we're going to solve word problems with that. So let's read this scenario. We have a total of 50 turkey burgers and veggie burgers that we buy for $90. You pay $2 per turkey burger and $1.50 per veggie burger. Write and solve a system of linear equations to find the X number of turkey burgers and the number of Y veggie burgers that we buy. So we're going to make two equations. When it talks about a system of linear equations, that is two. So we're going to talk about the two different kinds of equations we're going to write. The first one is going to be about the money, the price of these burgers. And then the second one is going to be about the amount, how many patties you buy. Okay, so this first one, the money. Okay, so we bought all of our veggie burgers and turkey burgers for a total of $90. And we are comparing two things. We have X turkey burgers and Y veggie burgers. So the turkey burgers go for $2. So it's going to be 2X plus $1.50 for veggie burgers. So it's going to be 1.5 or 150 Y. So that's going to be all the money. We're going to put all the money together. Once we use these numbers, we're done with them for our equations. Then the amount, how many patties we buy. We buy a total of 50 burgers in general, and the two kinds that you can buy are the turkey, which is X, and veggie, which is Y, and that's it. So a lot of the times you guys are going to have a scenario where it's the money dollar amount and then how many total you've bought. Now we have all of these our two equations. Now we have to solve it through substitution, which is what we just learned about. So I'm going to solve one of my equations for a variable. I'm going to do it for this one right here. It's easier to solve. So I'm going to put it in slope-intercept form. By doing that, I subtract x to the other side of the equation, and I'm left with y equals negative x plus 50. So I now have this equation the way I want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in this whole section that y is equal to, and I'm going to plug it into that second equation, or the first equation, to help solve. So this is what it's going to look like. I have 2x plus 1.5 times, instead of y, I have negative x plus 50 equals 90. So by doing that, I took out all of my y variables, and I now just have these x's, which is what I'm going to solve for first. So we're going to go ahead and distribute. So I have 2x minus 1.5x, because 1.5 times negative x is that. And then I have 1.5 times 50, which is 75, equals 90. I'm going to combine my like terms. So 2 minus 1.5 is 0.5x plus 75 equals 90. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 75 to the other side to try and get my variable alone. I now have 0.5x equals 15. Now, the last thing I have to do is divide by 0.5. This is going to tell me what my x coordinate is. So when we go ahead and solve 15 divided by 0.5, I get that x equals 30. Okay, so remember our equation, or our answer, is going to have a coordinate. So the x coordinate is 30. Now I need to figure out what my y coordinate is. I'm going to plug it into this second equation because it's so much easier. So instead of x plus y equals 50, I have 30 plus y equals 50. When I subtract 30 over, I end up getting that y equals 20. So I go ahead and finish my answer, which is 30 comma 20, but let's really talk about what this means. What this means is that we buy 30 turkey burgers and then 20 veggie burgers, completely total. So it's really good to label your answer. So now we know, hey, we had a total of 50 burgers that we bought. So 30 plus 20 is 50. And then when you plug it into the price equation, okay, you would have, it's $2 for turkey, $1.50 for veggie, and it's an equal $90 that you spent. All right, so we have another scenario here. It's kind of the same as the one before. So it says you sell lemonade for $2 per cup and orange juice for $3 per cup. And you sell 100 cups total of juice or lemonade for $240. Write and solve a system of linear equations to find the number of cups of lemonade and the number of cups of orange juice you sold. Again, this is just like the one prior. We're going to have an equation about the money, the price of everything, and then the total amount that you sold. So our first equation is going to have to do with all the money that we have. So we had a total of 240 that we sold for, okay? And now we have our lemonade and orange juice. So I'm going to just say the first thing we see is lemonade, so that's going to be X, and orange juice is going to be Y. So we have 2X plus 3Y, because it's $2 per cup of lemonade, $3 per cup of orange juice. And so that's our first equation. When we use those numbers, we're done with them. We are done with 2 and 3 and 240, all the money amounts. Now the total amount. We sold a total of 100 cups. The two ways we can sell cups is through lemonade, which is X, and orange juice, which is Y. And that's it. Now we need to start solving. So what I want you guys to do is pause your video, solve it on your own first, and then check back and see if your answer is correct. The first thing that you should do is change the second equation, it's easier, for a variable, and then substitute it in to this first equation. Go ahead and pause the video and check back and see if your answer is correct. All right, so this is how I got my answers. Hopefully you guys got the same answers, and if you didn't, hopefully I can walk you through and you can see where your mistake was. So I tried to color coordinate everything. The first thing I did was I turned this second equation into slope-intercept form, so you could see that in blue. So I subtracted X over to the other side, and there you go. Then in purple, I led you guys to see that we're going to substitute this expression in for Y in our first equation, and so I did that over here. So instead of 3 times Y, I have 3 times our little expression. So I went ahead and plugged it in and then solved. So I distributed. So the 3 became negative 3x. The 3 became 300. Then I combined my like terms here and subtracted 300 over to the other side to get negative 1x equals negative 60. When I divided by negative 1, I got x equals 60. So I started to put it into my answer, my coordinate. Then I decided to plug in 60 in for x on our second equation because it's just easier. And so instead of x plus y, I get 60 plus y equals 100. So y is 40, and I plugged it in here. Then because it is a word problem, you have to explain your answer. Well, x was dealing with lemonade, so we had 60 cups of lemonade that we sold and then 40 cups of orange juice. And that is your answer. What I want you guys to do is pause the video and read this equation or a word problem about different kinds of weightlifting plates. Instead of money this time, you guys are going to talk about the pounds or the weight of the plate. So you are going to have to worry about an equation there, and then also the amount of plates. So go ahead and pause your video and see if you guys can come up with your own 2 equations for this problem. All right, so these are the 2 equations you should have received. For the weights, we only used the pounds. So we had a total of 260 pounds, and we have a 45-pound plate and a 10-pound plate. So we just popped those in front of our variables. And then we had a total of 12 plates. Okay, and the first plate was the 45-pounder, the second type was the 10-pounder, and those are our 2 equations. Go ahead and pause your video now, solve using substitution to find out how many plates are 45-pound plates and how many are 10-pound plates that this weightlifter used. All right, so I went through and showed my work. So I had the answer of 4,8, and because it is that word problem, we have to explain what that means. 4 dealt with 45-pound weights, so they had 4 plates that were 45 pounds, and then 8 dealt with the 10-pound weights, and they equaled a total of 12 total plates weighing 260 total pounds.